This legacy, this viraasat means everything to me. I've backed my efforts with the right financial planning, ensuring that even in the ups and downs, I always had a way forward. But a legacy isn't just about what you create, it's about what you leave behind.
In India, where family-run businesses have been the backbone of the economy for generations, there is a new wave of young entrepreneurs who are not just inheriting legacies, but they are scaling them to unprecedented levels. In today's fast-paced world, a new generation of entrepreneurs is taking on the challenge of growing these family businesses way beyond the initial boundaries, ensuring that these legacies don't just survive but thrive. Welcome to the debut episode of Building Legacies. Today we are sharing the inspiring story of Arjun Vaidya, a young entrepreneur who inherited his family's 100-year-old Ayurveda business, Dr. Vaidya's, and took it global. Arjun didn't just inherit a legacy, he reshaped it for the future, blending ancient tradition with modern innovation to create a wellness brand that's thriving today. Welcome, Arjun. So Arjun, what I understand is that this business of Dr. Vaidya's was actually built by your great-great-grandfather probably 100 years ago, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And you were in the US. Now, Ayurveda is actually a very traditional Indian sort of a business, and somebody who studied in the US, what actually inspired you to come back and take over this legacy?
So, Kirtan, Ayurveda has always been a part of my life. I grew up with asthma, I suffered from juvenile bronchitis, and after 15 years of my grandfather's treatment, I was cured of asthma. When I came back to India in 2013, 3 months into me coming back, my dada passed, unfortunately. And so I inherited this rich legacy of these formulations and products. But something needed to be done with it. And so I quit my job at that time to take on this family legacy, and that's how the journey of Dr. Vaidya's began.
I think would have been a very interesting journey for you, because somebody who studied in the US, coming back, talking about the traditional Indian values and trying to scale this business on an already built legacy would really have been very critical and challenging at the same time.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure it's not easy for somebody who studied in the US for 2-3 years, learned the Western culture, but now has to come back to India and take forward a very traditional business in itself. I'm sure you would have faced a lot of challenges. Would you want to share some very critical learnings or challenges that you would have got through this journey of yours?
I think, of course, Dr. Vaidya's is a new age Ayurvedic products company, but the idea behind the brand was to take 150 years of this family legacy and give it a modern twist, a new avatar. I thought the biggest problem with Ayurveda was that the science had lost a connect with the new age consumers, and so through branding, communication, new age packaging and product formats, we actually tried to bring this back and engage with this customer. And through the brand, we actually re-established the connection between ancient Ayurveda and modern consumers, and thankfully it worked.
Arjun, I've actually read of a lot of business legacies being passed on to the second generation. And it's actually the second generation who's not been able to carry forward what actually the first generation left behind, right? In that context, how are you making sure that what you leave behind is going to be carried forward the way you did when the last generation legacy came to you?
For me, actually, it's a little bit different, right? Because my business is my pride, but it's also my legacy. I inherited 100 plus years of formulations and products, but also hard work and legacy by the generation before me. And so that respect to the work they had put in is very crucial in everything I did. And then, for me as business as well, it was not just building a company. It was taking forward a legacy, but taking it forward, keeping in mind the next generation. This legacy, this viraasat means everything to me. I've backed my efforts with the right financial planning, ensuring that even in the ups and downs, I always had a way forward. For me, it's not about preserving what I've inherited. It's about nurturing it, growing it, and making it even stronger for my daughter, my next generation. When I think about the future, I see my daughter and my family and the lives they'll lead, shaped by this legacy that I'm working to build for them. My dream is to pass down something bigger and better, ensuring that the love, vision, and security behind this legacy will thrive for years to come.
I think you made a very valid point of how you want to safeguard it for your family. Because while you are trying to create what you are trying to create and your financial planning, if is not in place, how are you going to be able to focus on making sure that the business passes on to the next generation the way you really want it to? So what are you doing at your end to make sure that the family does not actually end up bearing a brunt of probable mistakes that you would end up making as an entrepreneur when you've taken over a legacy as big as this?
So Kirtan, one thing is the work, the business, running the business, creating the value, creating the outcomes, long hours, nights, multitasking, managing investors, all of that, right? Building a legacy is every founder's goal and one of life's biggest achievements. It's a result of years of work, sacrifice, and aspiration. But a legacy isn't just about what you create. It's about what you leave behind. It creates security for the generation to come, even in your absence. For me, it's emotional to think families bearing the weight of an unfinished dream, watching years of effort unravel due to the wrong circumstances. That's why my advice comes from both empathy and practicality. Don't let uncertainties undo what you're building with dedication. As an entrepreneur and more importantly a family man, I've worked hard to ensure that I can give my family the best, a secure future, the finest education and a comfortable life. This legacy, this viraasat I'm building is for them. So that even in my absence, they are happy and well taken care of. I think to make that a reality, you need a strong financial foundation to protect what you're building. For me, that has meant making strategic investments and prioritizing financial safeguards like term insurance. So my message to fellow entrepreneurs is simple. Don't just focus on building, focus on protection as well. With the right support system in place, your legacy will continue to flourish and stand the test of time.
I think that's very interesting that you speak about today and tomorrow both, because your financial planning will make sure that even if something goes wrong with the business, you have breathing space to recover. And you also made a very valid point that, to make sure that the protection is there and you have a term insurance in an unforeseen event where everything from a business standpoint is doing well, but if something goes wrong to your life, you still have your family protected. I think that's a very valid point that you've made here, Arjun. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All of us put in so much of effort to build assets for our loved ones, be it saving money, buying gold, or even building a house. It's the legacy, the viraasat that we aspire to build for all our families. However, we often overlook that this process of building viraasat can be interrupted by an unforeseen event. That's where Kotak Life Term Insurance Plan actually steps in to ensure that the viraasat continues to grow uninterrupted no matter what.